The Stoics' Guide to Mental Freedom. 10 Ancient Strategies for Modern Peace. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to navigate life's storms with unwavering calm, while you feel like you're drowning in every wave of stress, anxiety, and overwhelm? Today, I'm going to share with you 10 ancient strategies that have been tested by emperors, warriors, and philosophers for over 2,000 years. These aren't feel-good platitudes or temporary fixes. These are battle-tested principles that can transform your relationship with stress, uncertainty, and the inevitable challenges that life throws your way. But more importantly, they can give you something that's become rare in our modern world: genuine mental freedom. Mental freedom isn't the absence of problems. It's the presence of unshakable inner strength. It's the ability to remain centered when everything around you is chaotic. It's waking up each day knowing that whatever happens, you have the tools to handle it with grace and wisdom. Before we dive in, let me tell you a story that changed my understanding of what real strength looks like. There was once a lighthouse keeper who worked on a rocky coast known for violent storms. Ships would regularly crash against the rocks, but his lighthouse remained standing year after year. One day, a visitor asked him how the lighthouse survived when so many ships were destroyed. The lighthouse keeper smiled and said, "The ships fight against the storm, trying to overpower it. But the lighthouse, it stands firm in its foundation and lets the storm rage around it. The storm exhausts itself, but the lighthouse remains." That's what you'll learn today, how to become the lighthouse in your own life. If you find value in this content, I encourage you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now let's explore these 10 strategies that will revolutionize your inner world. Strategy 1. The dichotomy of control. The master. Key to serenity. This is the foundational principle that everything else builds upon. The Stoics divided all of existence into two categories: what's within your control and what's outside your control. It sounds simple, but it's revolutionary when you truly internalize it. Think about this. How much of your daily stress comes from trying to control things that are fundamentally outside your power? The weather, other people's opinions, economic conditions, your boss's mood, traffic jams, global politics. The list is endless. Epictetus, who understood this principle better than anyone, put it this way: some things are within our power, while others are not. What's within our power are our judgments, our desires, our actions, and our responses. Everything else, literally everything else, is outside our control. But here's where it gets interesting. When you stop wasting energy on what you can't control, all that energy becomes available for what you can control. It's like removing a massive drain on your mental resources and redirecting that power toward meaningful change. Imagine the relief of no longer feeling responsible for things that were never your responsibility in the first place. Your coworker's bad mood, not your control. The stock market's volatility, not your control. Your teenager's attitude, largely not your control. But your response to all of these, completely within your control. This doesn't mean becoming passive or indifferent. It means becoming strategically focused on where you can actually make a difference. When you master this distinction, you develop what the Stoics called ataraxia, an unshakable tranquility that comes from knowing exactly where to direct your efforts. Practice this daily. Whenever you feel stressed or frustrated, ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, take a deep breath and redirect your energy. If yes, then take decisive action. This simple filter will transform how you experience daily life. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the ancient world, used this principle to maintain his sanity while dealing with wars, plagues, and political intrigue. If it worked for an emperor managing an empire, imagine what it can do for your daily challenges. Strategy 2, the power of present moment awareness, anchoring in reality. The human mind is a time-traveling machine, constantly jumping between regrets about the past and anxieties about the future. But here's the truth. The only place where you have any real power is right here, right now, in this present moment. The Stoics understood that the present moment is where life actually happens. Everything else is either memory or imagination. When you learn to anchor your attention in the present, you gain access to a profound source of peace and clarity that most people never experience. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." Not because the past and future don't matter, but because they only matter insofar as they inform your present actions. Worrying about tomorrow's meeting doesn't prepare you for it. It just ruins today. Think about your typical day. How much of it do you spend mentally elsewhere? Rehashing yesterday's conversation, planning next week's tasks, worrying about next month's bills. Meanwhile, life is happening right now, and you're missing it. Present moment awareness isn't about emptying your mind or achieving some mystical state. It's about fully engaging with whatever you're doing right now. When you're eating, really taste your food. When you're listening to someone, give them your complete attention. When you're walking, feel your feet on the ground. This practice has immediate benefits. Decisions made from present moment awareness are clearer and more effective. Relationships deepen when you're fully present with people. Work becomes more efficient when you're not mentally multitasking between past and future concerns. Start with 5 minutes a day of focused present moment practice. Choose any routine activity, brushing your teeth, drinking coffee, walking to your car, and give it your complete attention. Notice when your mind wanders and gently bring it back without judgment. Over time, this develops what the Stoics called prososche, continuous attention to the present moment. It's not meditation as escape from reality. It's meditation as deeper engagement with reality. When you're fully present, you're unshakable because you're rooted in the only moment that truly exists. Strategy 3. Negative visualization, appreciating through anticipation. This might sound counterintuitive, but one of the most powerful tools for happiness and resilience is regularly imagining losing the things you value most. The Stoics called this premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Before you dismiss this as pessimistic thinking, understand the profound psychology behind it. When you occasionally imagine losing your job, your health, your relationships, or your possessions, two remarkable things happen. You appreciate what you have more deeply, and you prepare yourself emotionally for life's inevitable changes. Most people take their blessings for granted until they're threatened or lost. But when you regularly contemplate impermanence, gratitude becomes your default state. You start noticing the miracle of ordinary things. Your ability to walk, the warmth of sunlight, the taste of water, the sound of laughter. This isn't about attracting negativity or becoming paranoid. It's about building emotional anti-fragility, the ability to not just survive loss, but to grow stronger because of it. When you've mentally rehearsed potential challenges, you're less devastated if they occur, and more resilient in your recovery. Seneca practiced this by periodically living as if he'd lost his wealth. He'd eat simple food, wear plain clothes, sleep without luxury, not as punishment, but as training to prove to himself that his happiness wasn't dependent on external circumstances. Practice negative visualization weekly. Spend 10 minutes imagining the loss of something you value. Notice how this makes you appreciate it more when you return to reality. Notice how it reduces the anxiety that comes from desperately clinging to what's temporary. This practice transforms your relationship with both gain and loss. You learn to hold your blessings lightly, enjoying them fully while they're here, but not being destroyed when they inevitably change. It's the difference between loving with an open hand versus a closed fist. Strategy 4. The discipline of desire. Wanting what you have. One of the greatest sources of human suffering is the gap between what we have and what we want. The Stoics developed a radical solution. Instead of constantly trying to get what you want, learn to want what you have. This doesn't mean settling for mediocrity or abandoning your goals. It means finding contentment in the present while working toward the future. It's the difference between being driven by scarcity and being motivated by abundance. Think about it. If you can't be happy with what you have now, why would you be happy with more? The hedonic treadmill ensures that each new acquisition only provides temporary satisfaction before you start wanting the next thing. But when you train yourself to appreciate what you already possess, every moment becomes rich with possibility. The discipline of desire involves two practices: gratitude for what you have and questioning your wants. Before pursuing any new desire, ask yourself, do I really need this? Or am I just caught up in cultural conditioning? Will this genuinely improve my life, or am I chasing an illusion? Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in Rome, regularly practiced voluntary discomfort to prove that his happiness wasn't dependent on luxury. He understood that the person who needs less is richer than the person who has more, but still wants more. Start each day by writing down 3 things you already have that you once desperately wanted. Your home, your health, your relationships, your abilities. You'll be amazed how rich you already are when you truly pay attention. This isn't about becoming passive or unambitious. It's about operating from a foundation of gratitude rather than need, abundance rather than lack. When you feel complete within yourself, your external actions come from inspiration, not desperation. You pursue goals because they align with your values, not because you're trying to fill an internal void. Strategy 5. The obstacle as the way, transforming problems into progress. Perhaps no Stoic principle is more revolutionary than this. Every obstacle you face is actually an opportunity in disguise. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This isn't positive thinking or wishful optimism. It's a strategic mindset that recognizes every challenge as raw material for developing character, skills, and resilience. The Stoics understood that we don't grow during the easy times. We grow by overcoming difficulties. Think about your greatest personal growth periods. Were they during times of comfort and ease, or during times of challenge and adversity? Every obstacle forces you to develop qualities you might never have cultivated otherwise. Patience during delays, creativity during resource constraints, courage during uncertainty. The key is shifting your automatic question from "Why is this happening to me?" to "How can this make me stronger?" This subtle change in perspective transforms you from a victim of circumstances into an alchemist who can turn lead into gold. Lost your job? It's an opportunity to discover skills you never knew you had, to explore paths you were too comfortable to consider before. Relationship ended. It's a chance to develop a deeper relationship with yourself, to clarify what you truly need in a partner. Health challenge? It's an invitation to prioritize what really matters and develop reserves of strength you didn't know you possessed. This doesn't minimize the real pain and difficulty of obstacles. It acknowledges the pain while simultaneously extracting value from the experience. Every setback becomes a setup for a comeback when you approach it with the right mindset. Practice this regularly. When facing any challenge, immediately ask, what can this teach me? How can this make me more virtuous, more skilled, or more resilient? Your brain will search for answers, and you'll be amazed at what you discover. Strategy 6. Evening. Reflection, the daily review. The Stoics ended each day with a practice that modern psychology has confirmed as one of the most powerful tools for personal growth: structured self-reflection. Seneca wrote extensive letters analyzing his daily experiences, extracting lessons, and planning improvements. This isn't about self-criticism or rumination. It's about approaching your life like a scientist, studying data, looking for patterns, celebrating wins, identifying areas for improvement, and continuously refining your approach to living. Each evening, ask yourself 3 questions. What did I do well today? What could I have done better? What did I learn? This simple review process transforms every day into a classroom and every experience into a teacher. The first question, what did I do well, builds confidence and reinforces positive behaviors. Many people skip this step, but it's crucial. You need to acknowledge your victories, however small, to maintain momentum and motivation. The second question, what could I have done better, identifies specific areas for improvement. Instead of vague self-criticism, you're looking for actionable insights. Maybe you reacted emotionally instead of responding thoughtfully. Maybe you got distracted instead of staying focused. Maybe you missed an opportunity to be kind or helpful. The third question, what did I learn, ensures that every experience, positive or negative, contributes to your growth. This transforms even difficult days into valuable lessons and maintains your sense of forward progress. Write these reflections down. The act of writing clarifies your thinking and creates a record of your journey. Over time, you'll notice patterns in your behavior, track your progress, and develop increasing self-awareness. This practice creates what psychologists call metacognition, thinking about thinking. It's the ability to step outside your immediate experience and view it objectively. This skill alone will accelerate your personal development more than almost any other practice. Strategy 7. Voluntary discomfort, building anti-fragility. While modern culture tries to eliminate all discomfort, the Stoics understood that voluntary exposure to manageable hardships builds resilience for when real adversity strikes. They called this ascesis, training exercises for the soul. This isn't masochism or unnecessary suffering. It's the same principle athletes use. Stress the system in controlled ways to make it stronger. By voluntarily experiencing small discomforts, you build confidence that you can handle larger challenges when they inevitably arise. Take cold showers, fast occasionally, sleep on the floor, wake up early, exercise until you're tired, have difficult conversations you've been avoiding. Each voluntary discomfort is a deposit in your resilience bank account. The benefits are both psychological and practical. Psychologically, you prove to yourself that you can do hard things, that discomfort won't destroy you, that you're stronger than you thought. Practically, you prepare for situations where comfort might not be available. Seneca practiced this by periodically living as if he'd lost everything. He'd eat simple food, wear basic clothes, sleep without luxury. His goal wasn't to punish himself, but to prove that his well-being wasn't dependent on external circumstances. The military understands this principle. They put soldiers through harsh training not to be cruel, but to prepare them for real combat. Life will test you whether you're prepared or not. Voluntary discomfort ensures you're ready. Start small. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Park farther away. Say no to something you want but don't need. Sit in silence for 10 minutes. Each small victory builds the confidence that you can handle bigger challenges. The goal isn't to become comfortable with discomfort. It's to become comfortable with your ability to handle discomfort. There's a crucial difference. You're not trying to enjoy hardship. You're building trust in your capacity to navigate it successfully. Strategy 8. The inner citadel, developing internal security. External security is largely an illusion. Jobs can disappear, relationships can end, health can fail, markets can crash. But there's one type of security that can never be taken from you, the fortress of character and virtue you build within yourself. The Stoics called this the inner citadel, a place of refuge that exists within your own mind and heart. No matter what happens in the external world, this inner fortress remains unshakable because it's built on principles rather than circumstances. Your inner citadel is constructed from your values, your character, your integrity, your knowledge, and your resilience. These internal resources are always available to you, regardless of external conditions. They can't be stolen, taxed, or destroyed by others. Building your inner citadel requires conscious effort and consistent practice. It means choosing your values deliberately and living by them even when it's difficult. It means developing skills and knowledge that enhance your capability. It means cultivating relationships based on mutual respect and shared principles. When your security comes from within, you're free to take appropriate risks, speak truthfully, act with integrity, and pursue meaningful goals without being paralyzed by fear of loss. You can love deeply without being desperate, work hard without being attached to specific outcomes, and face uncertainty with calm confidence. This internal security manifests as what psychologists call internal locus of control, the belief that your actions and choices matter more than external circumstances in determining your outcomes. People with strong inner citadels are resilient, adaptable, and generally happier, regardless of their external conditions. Start building your inner citadel by identifying your core values. What principles will you uphold even under pressure? What kind of person do you want to be when facing adversity? What internal resources can you develop that will serve you in any situation? Strategy 9. Sympathia, understanding universal connection. The Stoics believed in sympathia, the idea that everything in the universe is interconnected. This wasn't mystical thinking, but practical wisdom. When you understand that your well-being is connected to the well-being of others, you naturally become more compassionate, cooperative, and effective. This principle transforms how you view difficult people and situations. That annoying coworker isn't your enemy. They're part of the same system you're trying to navigate successfully. That traffic jam isn't a personal attack. It's a collective challenge that affects everyone involved. When you truly internalize sympathia, several things happen. First, you become less reactive to others' behavior because you understand they're dealing with their own challenges and limitations. Second, you become more helpful because you recognize that improving the system benefits everyone, including yourself. Third, you develop what Marcus Aurelius called the common good mindset. Instead of approaching life as a zero-sum game where someone has to lose for you to win, you look for solutions that benefit everyone involved. This makes you more attractive as a colleague, friend, and leader. The practical application is simple. In any challenging situation, ask yourself, how can I contribute to making this better for everyone? This question alone will transform how you approach conflicts, negotiations, and daily interactions. This doesn't mean being naive or allowing yourself to be taken advantage of. It means approaching situations with a collaborative rather than adversarial mindset whenever possible. You're looking for win-win solutions that strengthen the whole system rather than just benefiting yourself at others' expense. Strategy 10. Memento mori. Remembering. Mortality. The final strategy might seem morbid, but it's actually liberating. Regularly remembering that you and everyone you love will eventually die. The Stoics use this practice not to become depressed, but to appreciate life more fully and prioritize what truly matters. When you truly internalize your mortality, several profound shifts occur. Trivial concerns lose their grip on your attention. You become more present because you realize each moment is unrepeatable. You express love more freely because you understand time is limited. You also become more courageous in pursuing what matters because you realize the biggest risk is not taking risks. It's reaching the end of your life with regret about opportunities missed and words unsaid. Marcus Aurelius regularly contemplated death, not as a morbid obsession, but as a daily reminder to live virtuously and purposefully. He wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live." This practice puts daily problems in perspective. That embarrassing moment at work? It won't matter in 100 years. That argument with your spouse? Life's too short to hold grudges. That fear of failure? The greater failure is never trying. Memento mori also cultivates gratitude for simple pleasures. The taste of coffee, the warmth of sunlight, the sound of laughter, all become more precious when viewed against the backdrop of impermanence. Practice this weekly. Spend a few minutes contemplating your mortality, not to become morbid, but to clarify priorities. If you had 1 year left, what would you change about how you're living now? What conversations would you have? What experiences would you prioritize? To great conclusion, the unshakable life. These 10 strategies aren't just intellectual concepts, they're practical tools for building an unshakable life. They work because they're based on fundamental truths about human nature and the reality of existence that remain constant across cultures and centuries. The journey from mental fragility to mental strength isn't quick or easy. It requires consistent practice, honest self-reflection, and the courage to face reality without illusions. But the payoff is extraordinary. A life of genuine confidence, deep peace, and meaningful contribution. You don't need to be perfect at all these strategies to benefit from them. Start with the one that resonates most strongly with you. Master it before moving to the next. Each strategy reinforces the others, creating a synergistic effect that's greater than the sum of its parts. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate all challenges from your life. That's impossible and would ultimately make you weaker. The goal is to develop the internal resources to handle whatever life brings with grace, wisdom, and strength. The Stoics believed that philosophy wasn't an academic exercise, but a way of life. These strategies only work if you work them. Knowledge without application is just entertainment. Wisdom is knowledge put into practice. Your mental freedom begins with your next choice, your next response, your next opportunity to apply these ancient principles to your modern life. The unshakable you isn't some future version of yourself. It's who you become the moment you start building your inner fortress with these time-tested tools. If this content has added value to your life, share it with someone who needs these truths. And remember, the goal isn't to eliminate all storms from your life, but to become so strong internally that you can dance in any weather. Your journey to unshakable mental strength starts now.